Okay, so we are starting on page 4-18, and we're going to be creating a new part, and the guide support assembly that we did was in millimeters, so we're going to use inches for the flashlight assembly. And if you look on step number 46 at the top of page 4-18, she has part inch ANSI, and then in brackets she has part millimeter ISO. She's giving people an opportunity that if they want to do it in metric, they can. That doesn't mean that you pick both. You got to pick one or the other. And if you're going to work in metric, you have to work in metric for the whole assembly. You're going to work in inches, you got to work in inches for the whole assembly. Otherwise, just to make it easy. So
SolidWorks won't be mesh together?
Not very well, no. I mean, you would have to do some kind of conversion stuff. So it's easier if you just stay in the same units. So we're going to say new, and we're going to go with inches. So we're selecting our inches template. We're going to be using inches for the whole flashlight assembly, and then we're going to say OK. Now this battery is a purchased part, okay? We're not going to be fabricating the battery. Really? We're not going to be a battery company. We're going to be a flashlight manufacturer. So the battery is going to be a purchased part, which means that for your drawing for the battery, I don't need you to go into a great deal of detail. The only thing I'm concerned about with the battery is the overall dimensions, so that I know how much space it's going to take up in inventory, and so I can check for clearance inside the flashlight housing. That's all I'm worried about. Yeah?
When you make the flashlight housing, can you make the battery dimensions a driven dimension?
You could, but we're not doing that in this class. Okay? Question in the back.
For the battery, could you find that part in a SolidWorks file on, say, McMaster car?
Well, no, McMaster, no, but GrabCAD, yes.
Okay.
Question?
GrabCAD, they have a lot of different stuff which is for CAD and other programs.
Right.
SolidWorks will be able to take it in and use
Well, a lot of stuff in GrabCAD is in native SolidWorks.
Okay.
So
that you have to pay attention to the extension or the description?
yeah, well, you have to look at GrabCAD is basically a resource, and some people are really great at doing CAD, some people aren't. So you download the model and you check it out, and you look at it and you decide whether it's worth your time or not. So there's some stuff that's really great, and there's some stuff that's not so great. Okay, it's kind of like buyer beware type of thing. Okay, same with 3D Content Central. It's the same deal. People upload stuff to it, and some of it's great and some of it's not. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so we're going to start on the top plane. So we're going to put our first sketch on the top plane right here. New sketch. We're going to do a center rectangle. So center rectangle right here on the ribbon. Coincident to the origin. Bring it out. Now this is 2.7 by 2.7. So I have a choice. I can put the dimension on both sides, or I can use a geometric constraint and make them equal. Which would be better? To dimension both sides or to set them to equal?
Equal something.
Why would equal be better?
Because if you modify one dimension, the second one is automatic.
That's right. So less maintenance if you assume that the battery is always going to be square. So we can add an equal constraint. So I'm just going to say add relation. Select this line, make them equal. All right, at this point it's fully defined. Is there anybody lost, needing help? Really? Nobody's lost, needing help? Look at how far you have come. Ron's gonna feel unloved soon. Right, Ron? Where's Ron's love? Okay. Switching to an isometric view. Zoom out a little bit. I'm going to go over to features. Notice I do not have to exit sketch mode to do an extrude. To me, that's just one extra step. Don't need it, right? Anything that slows me down, even if it's a single mouse click, that's not good. So we're going to do a base extrude. So I'm selecting the base boss extrude right here. And I'm going to extrude it 4.1 inches. And then I'm going to green check. Okay, and I'm going to save. And I'm going to call it battery 12 volt square. Well, I made it 12. And I'm going to save it. Anybody lost? Anybody needing help? Raise your hand if you're lost, needing help. Ron is feeling useless back there.
Very complex thing.
Wait a minute. Remember the first day you guys were... Whoa, now you're sneering at me. Hey, give me something harder. Okay, we want to add fillets. We want to add fillets to the four sides right here. Now, I could just leave it in shaded mode, edges, we shaded with the edges, but then I'd have it orbit around to get to that back side. So what I can do is I can switch it to hidden lines visible, and then I don't have to orbit. I can see, all four sides without orbiting. Now, then I got to switch it back, of course. So this is just kind of showing you a trick. It's in the book. It's on page 4-22. I'm going to be selecting the fillet tool right here on the ribbon. Our fillet is going to be 0.5. And I'm going to select this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. And notice it previews. Oops, I got a face. So I accidentally hit the face, so I'm just going to highlight the face and go delete so I don't have to repick everything. See? So I've got all four sides selected at 0.5. And then I'm going to green check. And I'm going to switch it back to shaded with hidden, and I'm going to rename my fillets side fillets. And I'm going to save it. Anybody lost? Anybody needing help? Everybody good? Okay, so then the next thing we want to do, you're going to want to watch me on this one because this one's a little more tricky. What we want to do is we want to create a well for the terminals. So what we want to do is we want to offset this edge, the outside edge, into the battery, and then do a little extruded cut to create the well for the terminals. All right, so you want to watch me because if you don't do it right, it takes a few more steps. So step number one, I select this face and I go new sketch. And notice I've got this face highlighted. See how it's selected? So I have that face selected and then I select offset entities. And see how it previews in yellow? And it's offsetting out. I want to reverse it. So I click reverse so it comes in. And then I'm going to change that dimension to 0.15. Whoops, and it went the wrong way, shoot. Okay, let me do it again. Offset, 0.15, reverse, and then I just left click in the window, and it's still going wrong. Set, 0.15, reverse, and I'm going to green check. I'm not going to left click. Okay, and then it goes correctly. So there it is. So to me, that's a bug. All right, so that's what you want to see. So I'm going to do it one more time. I have this face selected. I go offset editings. I have a 0.15. I click on reverse, and then I green check. Okay? Anybody need help? Aha, it's no longer, I got one. One down. Yes.
Why didn't you use the shell tool and just set
Change direction, no inside, that's outside.
Why would I?
Direction, inside.
Normally you do, well, to do a shell tool, I'm not going to have it go that deep. I'm not going to have it go all the way down here, right? I could, but then I'd have to have different depths, right? Question. 0.15. Okay. Who else needs help? We're going to switch over to features. We're going to features and we're doing an extruded cut. And we're going to be extruding this inside face. So I'm going to click extruded cut. And I don't want it to go down 4.1. I want it to go down 0.20. And notice it'll preview. There's my well. So I'm going to rename it and call it terminal well.
You said 0.2 what?
0.2 for the extruded cut. And save it. Okay. Everybody with me? Anybody needing help? Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add fillets to this edge and this edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this top face. And then I'm going to select the fillet. And I'm going to say 0.05. Make sure you put that 0 there because that's really important. It's going to preview. And then I'm going to go green check. And I'm going to call this well fillet. And I'll call it upper well fillet. And save it. Okay, so now we're ready to create our terminals. All right? We're on page 4-27. Okay, so I'm going to select this face, and I'm going to say new sketch. I'm going to create a circle center here. Okay, and I'm going to create a circle up here. And I'm going to draw a center line between the two circles. And I'm going to set them to be equal. Okay, now the sketch for the two circles is on page 4-29. Okay, I'm going to add a dimension to the circle. It's going to be 0.5. This dimension right here is 1. Okay. And then I need to do a dimension from, need to create an angle dimension. And what I did was I turned on the visibility of the right plane. Okay? And I'm going to create a dimension from the right plane to the angle. So if I select the right plane and then I select this angled line, I can place a dimension. And now it's fully defined. Question?
That line you made, you just drew that?
Which line?
The center line.
This line?
No, the one that's,
This one?
yeah.
That's not a line, that's the right plane. I just turned on the visibility of the right plane and saved myself some drawing. Okay? And just said it's at a 45-degree angle from the right plane. Everybody good? Anybody needing help? Andrew needs help.
Can you show us how you angle that again? 45?
All right. Okay, so you saw how I have two circles?
Yeah.
All right. I added the one dimension, right? That's easy. You're able to do that, right? Okay. So now I want to add that angle dimension. So first I turn on the visibility or show the right plane. So I can see the right plane. See the right plane? And then I select the right plane and that angled line, and there's my dimension. And I just set that to 45 degrees, green check, I am good to go. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, I'm switching to an isometric view. I'm going to turn off the visibility of the right plane, so I'm setting it to high. Okay, so I've got these two circles, and what I want to do is I want to extrude them up, but I want them to have what's called a draft or an angle to them, just like battery terminals have. So I'm going to come back over to features. I'm going to go to extruded boss face. Okay, it's previewing it. I want them to be 0.6. Whoops, 0.6. But I want them to have a draft to them. My draft is right here. So if I want to add a draft, I want to toggle that on. So I'm going to toggle that on, and I'm going to add a draft of 5 degrees. And notice it previews, so see how it's angling? Okay? So that's what I want, and I'm going to green check. And I'm going to rename these terminals. And save. Okay? So here's my battery, and this is where she ends in the book. So she's done with the part as far as she's concerned in the book. Now me, I'm not happy yet. Okay? Because if I'm going to show this to a customer, he's going to look at it. I want it to pop for him to see the battery. And one of the things that I'm going to be concerned about with the battery is the wiring to the battery. Which one's the positive terminal, which one's the ground. Okay? So I want to be able to designate the positive and the ground terminals, make it very clear to whoever's looking at it which is which. So I want you to watch me because this is not in the book. All right? So what I want to do is I want to make this terminal red, indicating positive, and this terminal black, indicating negative or ground. All right? It pops more, and it makes more sense when you see it in a rendering or in an assembly drawing. So to add color, I come over here to my appearance, scenes, and decals. Okay? Now I can either come over here or I can highlight the features that I want. In this case, the side of the terminal and the top of the terminal. And see right here in the right click, there's a little beach ball balloon. Okay? So I'm going to click on that down. And notice in the down, I can select the face, the features, the body, or the part. Do you see that? And I want to select the face. The face is just the faces I've got selected. So I click on face. There's a little pause. And then it says, what color do you want it? And I scroll down, and I say I want it to be a bright red. And notice it previews the bright red color. And then I green check. So now my positive terminal is red. Okay? I'm going to save it. I'm going to do it again for the negative terminal. So what I do is I hold down my control key, I select the top of the negative terminal, I select the side of the negative terminal so they're both highlighted. Then I right click, I select the beach ball again, go to that little down arrow, and once again I want to select the face because I'm only adding color to the face. Comes up, now it's going to be black. Select the little black color stamp, green check. Now I have a black and red terminal and my battery looks more real. Okay? Not only that, my terminals is one feature, but it's got two different colors to it. See that? Cool? Yeah? Alright. So I'm going to save it. We are done with the battery.